So you get out and you
obviously... No, I ain't just get out. They asked me, did I want to get out? And I said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't just get out.
You gotta do something.
You gotta do something to get out.
So you say yes. You're released from prison.
Oh, gang, you keep going too fast. I ain't just get released. So I want everybody to know the truth. You know what you gotta do to get out of that. Right? I had to sacrifice my son, gang. But it's all good, because I can have another one. Right?
Okay, so you had to sacrifice your son to get out of prison.
That's what I got on my mama. But I don't really trip off of it because, like, you can have another one. Right? What's one? I got 2 balls. I had 2 sons.
Okay.
That's what I got on my mama. I got to win, gang.
That didn't make you feel bad, or like, you know, what was the process like for doing that?
Come on, gang. I'm half Illuminati, gang. I know everything. I know. Just like Moses knew. Yeah, when God told Moses to kill his son, he was going to do it too. But I actually did it, right? Stop playing with me. I got the power. He didn't get all the power. He should have did it.
Cast all of your idols aside. Have no part with the works of darkness, but rather expose them. To many of us, this is not a surprise, whether it's AI or not. We've been aware of this for years. Sadly, the youth may get sucked into it.
Y'all wondering how?
By the age of 13, 50% of kids have been exposed to. So my son just turned 14. So I turned to him. I say, okay, you know, have you seen pornography before? And what was interesting is he wasn't trying to be coy. He didn't know what it was. He didn't know how to define it. So I had to then start to define it for him. And what I realized is, A, not only had he seen pornography, but my 10-year-old had seen pornography.
The average age at which a child stumbles across first sees it is 6 years old.
6 years old?
6 years old. And that survey was done 11 years ago. I got an email from a woman who said, my first exposure was 8 years old and it was a gangbang. There are 2 pieces of advice I've had to give to parents over the years. The first body of evidence that girls in America are reaching puberty earlier, with potentially troubling implications for their long-term health. The percentage of girls getting their period before the age of 9 more than doubled.
The fact that young girls under the age of 9 are even getting their period is insane, but also unsurprising. We've seen breast cancer on the rise, diabetes on the rise, infertility rates on the rise, all in young women, and early puberty is one of those warning signs. Fortunately, there is something we can do about it. Researchers recently studied over 10,000 compounds and found that a chemical commonly used in perfumes, soaps, and even in the water supply affects the brain's hormone signals. So to reduce exposure, only purchase unscented products. Try to buy organic when you can, but the key is really in avoiding fragrance. My name is Taryn, and if you want...
I am trigender, which means like a triangle, I have 3 genders. Male, female, and non-binary. And the difference between trigender and gender fluid is that I feel all 3 of these genders at the same time, all the time. It doesn't ever shift or change, or where I feel one gender more strongly than the other, like gender fluid tends to be. Also, I should recognize and accept that a lot of people don't see non-binary as a 3rd gender. They see it as something completely separate from the binary of male and female. But for me, it's like a 3rd gender, or I guess you could call it a 3rd identity.
The average person who goes to school has no idea why humanity exists. He has no idea concerning a spiritual factor in material existence. He has no general comprehension of the rules of life as these differ from the rules of social and political structures. He does not know where he came from. He does not know why he is here, and he has no idea where he's going. And on this compound ignorance, we offer degrees and make brilliant scholars out of people who have never answered any of those questions. It is one of these amazing things that we have created a great hierarchy of well-lettered ignorance. We have made everything subservient not to wisdom, but to the passing advantages of the hour. We're in exactly this position politically today.
If you have to take your phone from room to room no matter where you go, you probably have a problem. If you wake up in the morning and you check your phone before you say good morning to the person sitting next to you, you probably have a problem. I just want to show you something. This is the psychological power of the device. What if I was sitting here talking to you, holding my phone? It's not buzzing, it's not beeping, no one's calling me, I'm just holding it. Do you feel like you are the most important thing to me right now? No, you don't. So when we show up for a meeting, or we sit down for dinner with our families, and we put the phone on the table, it sends a psychological message to everyone sitting there that you are not the most important thing to me right now. And putting the phone upside down is not more polite. Put it in airplane mode to take away the temptation that something's coming in, and put it in a bag out of sight. This is how we should be interacting with people, giving them our full attention.
The CIA does not care about human life. It doesn't care about peace at all. It cares about winning and perpetuating and expanding itself, and that's not an exaggeration. They have an entire procedure they've developed over the last 40 years since Gary Webb. They destroyed his career, lost his marriage, his finances, and then wound up in a hotel room with 2 bullets in his head because he reported on CIA drug running, and he wrote the book Dark Alliance. Their most favorite form of assassination is pushing someone to suicide, and then that gives them the doctrine of plausible deniability. And that comes from National Security Council Directive 10-2 in 1948, where the CIA can do anything it wants: sabotage, subversion, economic warfare, assassination. It can do anything it wants as long as there's plausible denial for the U.S. government. They can deny any involvement. The CIA can do anything it wants. Now imagine that. With their $39 billion plus budget and the power of secrecy they have, the things that they have done and are doing are unconscionable.
To be quite frank with you, when you go into the military, you're indoctrinated. If you don't kill that person across the room, that person will kill you. We demonize them. How about this, Judge? What threat did, to be quite frank with you, did Afghanistan and the Taliban have against us? They didn't attack us.
Right.
What was the threat of Saddam? You know, I asked many of our audience, and I want your audience to know this, both nationally and internationally. What threat did Saddam have? You know, he was no threat to us. How about Syria now? Syria absolutely was no threat to us. And to be quite frank with you, let's take it a step further. Iran is no threat to us. And so, you know, we're told that these are the enemies. You know, they want to change our way of life, where they're not over here trying to change our way of life. We're over there in their parts of the world trying to change their life in so-called, quote, quote, democracy.
Wait, you're saying that children in Gaza are being shot by snipers?
Definitively. No toddler gets shot twice by mistake by the world's best sniper. All of the disasters I've seen combined, 40 mission trips, 30 years, ground zero, earthquakes, all of that combined doesn't equal the level of carnage that I saw against civilians in just my first week in Gaza.
And when you say civilians, is it mostly children?
Almost exclusively children. I've never seen that before. Never seen that. I've seen more incinerated children than I've ever seen in my entire life combined. I've seen more shredded children, missing body parts, being crushed by buildings, the greatest majority, or bomb explosions, the next greatest majority. We've taken shrapnel as big as my thumb out of 8-year-olds, and then there's sniper bullets. I have children that were shot twice.
Wednesday, where is the most danger place for Jewish people? Go all around the world. All the world, you will come to one point, the middle of the world, the state of Israel. It is the most danger place for Jewish people. Jews live peacefully here in England. I live in England already 36 years. I don't know how an English soldier looks like. I never saw them. In Israel, every small child knows all the weapons, all the soldiers, tanks, all military vehicles. This is safeness. This is the most dangerous place for the Jewish people. 7th of October didn't start on 7th of October. It started in 1948 on the 15th of May. It started by the Nakba for the Palestinians. This happened when they want to cover up their killings, the genocide, with more genocide and with more killings. When you control a people, a large...
the index of other news tonight, doctors celebrating a major medical breakthrough. A 53-year-old grandmother from Alabama recovering from a kidney transplant at NYU Langone here in New York using a genetically modified pig kidney. They were unable to find a human match for the patient, Tawana Looney. She says she took the risk, quote, hoping it would help many others too.
NYU Langone Health announced that it performed a successful transplant of a gene-edited pig kidney with a female patient. The 53-year-old woman from Alabama is now free from dialysis, and doctors say she is in better health since this transplant happened last month. The news is coming out now. She is now the only person in the world alive with a pig organ. Right now, more than 90,000 people, meanwhile, are on the wait list for a kidney transplant in the U.S. alone, but only about 27,000 transplants performed last year. There is a shortage. CBS News Chief.
As we then approach the end of this year, many people have come up to me telling me they feel tired, maybe even resigned. Folks who have said to me that they're not sure whether they have the strength, much less the desire, to stay in the fight. But let me be very clear. No one can walk away. No one can walk away. We must stay in the fight. Every one of us. So Sasha, like all of you, inspire me. Young people who are rightly impatient for change. I love that about you. Impatient for change. Who will not let anyone or any circumstance defeat your spirit or your sense of purpose. You will not allow your spirit or your sense of purpose to be defeated. You who have, I think, by your actions adopted some advice my mother gave me a long time ago. She would say to me, Kamala, don't just complain about what is wrong. Do something about it. Make it right. That's a life you all are living. You reflect the best of the America I have seen.